Alright guys, welcome to this Onshape tutorial. In today's video, we will teach you how to make basic shapes and forms in Onshape. Without further ado, let's get started. When you log into Onshape or create your account, you will be met with this screen. This is the screen where you have all of your project tabs down here. You can see I've tried a various number of projects on Onshape, and where you will be able to create projects. So come over to this Create tab, hit the drop down arrow, and we're going to do a document for this. Alright, so click Document, and then you can name it. I'm going to just do Demo Doc, and then I'm going to hit Create. Alright, this is your workspace. Your work plane is going to be either your top, your front, or your right. Your work plane is the face that you sketch on or put your drawing on, and then you're going to turn that drawing into a three-dimensional shape by extruding using this tool. We're going to show you how to do that. So hit the sketch button, come over and select the top plane, and then we can switch it to the top view just to make it a little bit easier to see what we're dealing with. We're going to this time create a corner rectangle. This will create a rectangle that when you click, I'll just show you. You click, and then you can drag to create our other corner. And you can see that it moves around freely. And once again, I selected the origin as our spot of, well, origin. So we're going to make a box that's actually 4.5 by 4.5. So we can select, you can type 4.5, and then hit, enter, and it jumped. But we can still do 4.5 for this. It didn't deselect it. Hit enter. And now you can see we have a 4.5 by 4.5 inch box. Click the green check. Come over here to export, or not export. Come over here to extrude and select our square. So now, if we want it to be a perfect box, we're going to have to bring it up. So our z-axis, our up and down axis, just as far as our left to right and our front to back, or our x and our y. So we did 4.5 for each of those, which means 4.5 is going to be our extrude height. So hit the green check once you've typed in 4.5, and you will be left with a box. Okay, from this point on, we're not going to need any of our default geometry. So you can come over to top and hit hide top, hide front, and hide right. We can also hide our origin. So now we are left with just a box that we can turn into a crate. So we're going to come over the top of our object, and you can see how it's outlined in yellow. Now you select, and it turns yellow. Now you can hit a new sketch. What that's going to do is that's going to create a sketch on top of the face of the object that we selected. So I cannot create a sketch in the middle of our object, but I could create a sketch on any of the surfaces that I wanted. We're going to go to top view so we can see what we're working with. And now we're going to create a corner rectangle. We're going to come down to the side and come out a little bit. We want it to be right there. Right there. There we go. Now we can go two-finger click and escape rectangle to move it around. We're actually going to pull it out way to the side. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to pull that out way to the side. Okay, so now we have our crate. Our top, at least. So we can hit check. And now we can go to extrude and select our new square. Now, we're going to need to remove material here instead of add material. So what we can do is come into our extrude to tab, and we're going to remove. So select remove and it'll automatically orient down. Now you can come up and you can drag this down as far as you want. I want to leave a 0.25 depth, which means 4.25 will be how much I'm cutting in to the surface, how much material I'm removing. Hit the green check. Now you can see we have the base of a box, of a crate, but we need handles in the side. So what we can do is we can select the side of our object and create a new sketch on the side of our object. Come to the right view, or whatever view you chose as your side, and now I'm going to do a line. Actually, I'm going to do a rectangle. I lied. And I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to drag and create my rectangle. I like about that size. That looks good. So now I'll leave that as my rectangle. And now I can come over to our 3-point arc. Okay, this is going to allow us to create an arc inside of this. So you choose a starting point and an end point, and then you drag as far as you want it to go. So you can see it comes out to almost an entire circle, but it'll lock at an arc. Now you can come back to 3-point arc and place it on the ends. And there we go. That on both ends. Escape arc. Now you can come to our trim feature. Looks like a scissor and it's in about the middle of the toolbar. Select trim and then select the lines on the rectangle to leave it as just an oval. Hit a check on sketch 3. Come over to extrude. Again, we can use this to remove parts of our object. So we want to go in like a handle. So I can just click this arrow and I can drag as another way to initiate the remove. And I'm actually going to drag it through open space and out the other end. Select remove. This will make a handle cutout on both ends of our box, not just this one, because I've dragged it out far enough. Hit check. And now we have our box. It has sharp corners and sharp edges though. We want to make it look nice. So in Onshape, we have what's called a fillet. This will allow you to take the sharp edge of any object and curve it over. This is what a fillet looks like. You can see on a rounded corner. Select the fillet tool, come over and select the edge of your box. Select all 4 edges here. Now I'm going to switch to my top view so I can see what the fillet is doing. Grab this arrow and drag in, and you can see that on all 4 corners, it's cutting off the corner and rounding it off. You can also see the radius. I want mine to be 0.15. So we can type in 0.15, and that will give the same radius to all 4 corners. And now you can see that our box has nice rounded edges. We're going to come over to our Part Studio 1 button. We're going to double click, 2-finger click on that, and we're going to come up to export. So now we can select the export because that will export our file. Now the first thing you want to do is edit your name. So if you just keep exporting, you're going to have a bunch of files named Part Studio 1 and you're not going to know what it means. So we'll come over to Part Studio 1 and then I'll just say demo object. That's all I'm going to do. For our demo, we want demo. Excuse me. Now we can come down to format, which is the next step in the export process. I'm going to leave mine on STL. That is a standard format for 3D models. As you see, you have a bunch of other types, but we're only going to get into one other type in this video, and that is the 3MF. .3MF. That is the 3D modeling if you want to 3D model something, you can put it into .3mf or .stl, because those are the two most common types. Alright, so we're going to leave ours on .stl. Now, for now, you don't need to worry about any of these other options and can just continue to export. If you do, I'll link a more detailed tutorial down below. Now select Export.